Restaurants have always been an important element of life in a city, and Paterson, New Jersey is no exception. Often included in one's memory about living in the city or visiting it for business or shopping are the times of eating out at certain places with family, friends, or others. For example, long before there were fast food chain franchises, eateries in Paterson offered their own versions of tasty foods and quick service. Many older generation Patersonians fondly recall eating at Libby's on McBride Avenue, or Johnny and Haynes' on River Street, or the Falls View Grill on Spruce Street, or the Fat Man on Ellison Street. Today, Paterson has more than 200 restaurants, and we will look at many of them.
Paterson, as being one of the state's largest cities, was always a hub for everything, shopping and restaurants. Restaurants were always an adjunct to shopping in Paterson. And you look back in history, from 1838, you had a place called the Franklin House. Mark Twain gave a lecture here, and he stayed at the Franklin House. The Franklin House and a number of the larger, more well-known restaurants were attached to hotels. And they were always advertised for fine dining. But the city was honeycombed with all sorts of restaurants. And as time went on, they became more and more ethnically defined. For example, in the 19th century, in the early 20th century, when you had a large German population, you had places like the Steuben Rathskeller and Westermann's, the famed Black Bear Grill in Tavern on Belmont Avenue. So you found that there were many people that would come, not only who lived in the city, but from out of the city that would patronize them. These restaurants were what you would call gemütlich. They were cozy, they were family-oriented.
Let's move into the earlier part of the 20th century and talk about this rather infamous, if you will, the Lido-Venice. Can you tell us about that?
Lido-Venice was a very interesting place, extremely well known. It actually was, they called it a night spot, a nightclub. And the Lido-Venice started out as Tessie's Island House, but it really came into its stride when it was purchased by the Durante Brothers. They were related to Jimmy Durante, the entertainer. The Durante Brothers that came up with the Venetian approach, motif, and they had a garden, an island attached to it because it was accessed by the Lincoln Bridge. And the garden, they gave gondola rides, and you could go out there. There was dancing in the restaurant. It was a very kind of romantic place, but not your average Patersonian. People from out of town went there. And during the 1920s, that was a rollicking place. And there were many people who visited there. Gypsy Rose Lee, the stripper, she did a strip show. Milton Berle, Jackie Gleason, Lou Costello, Henny Youngman, names from vaudeville, came and entertained there.
Ginger Rogers too, I believe.
Ginger Rogers was there, that's correct.
Comedian Lou Costello's older brother Pat had a house band there in 1927-28 known as Pat Cristillo and his Gondoliers. The Lido-Venice, could you talk about that a little bit?
Oh my gosh, it was actually known as the most elegant speakeasy in the country, would you believe it? Paterson. But it was a fun place, it was a respected place. I gotta tell you, Vince, I'm sorry that I wasn't in my era, that I personally didn't go there, because it seemed like such a great place to be and having a lot of fun.
From what I know about the Hawaiian Paradise, it was a place where you'd want to bring a date, and they had 2 floor shows. The women wore grass skirts, and they say they advertised themselves with the best food and the best liquor in the state. The whole restaurant was done in a Hawaiian motif. They called it a touch of Hawaii, I believe. It was, really a night spot in the 1930s and carried over into the 1950s. Well, one of the most prominent restaurants was the Tree Tavern at One Park Avenue, very easily accessible from City Hall area and Market Street. They were known for their eggplant parmesan, the Italian specialties, but particularly their pizza. So the Franchias developed frozen food franchise, and they later closed the restaurant and just manufactured frozen food.
Scordato's was definitely not a big restaurant. I would say it would be maximum seating of maybe 60 to 70 people, along with the bar. But it was a very intimate place. The way it was designed. It was beautiful.
Scordato had another individual character to it. It attracted many of the attorneys and judges from the courthouse who used to have lunch and dinner there. There were also people in government, people who served on boards and commissions that would have their meetings there. And here again, the food was of very, very high quality.
Do you remember a restaurant called Lumbrello's? Can you describe it?
I remember
anyway?
the food was pretty good, but the motif was very unusual. They had some huge colored umbrellas hanging from the ceiling. Well, that's what it means, lumbrello. In 1954, Paterson had 207 varieties of restaurants. Now, some were little luncheonettes, but they were all food providers, including what you would call the more expensive restaurants that served food in, let's say, a plush or a more elegant setting. The Alexander Hamilton Hotel, they had a restaurant, and it was pretty elegant for its time. And the people who dined at that way were not only the people who stayed at the hotel, but it was people who had banquets, weddings, and also the movers and shakers of Paterson. People in political life would dine there frequently.
Unlike department stores today that we find in malls and out on the highways, Paterson's department stores back in the day also were very well known for their restaurants. In particular, I'm thinking of Meyers Brothers. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Well, Meyers Brothers had one, Quackenbush had one, and this was a place that attracted the weary from shopping. But Meyers Brothers also served a dinner there too. And Meyers Brothers restaurant was very well known for some of their desserts, like their strawberry rhubarb pie and other luncheon food. And Paterson drew a lot of people from the suburbs. Meyers Brothers had a lot of customers from all over the area that would shop here. They would come in from Passaic, they'd come from Ringwood, and they would have lunch there at the Meyers Brothers restaurant. The Hamilton Club was an institution that was created for the city's, basically, the elite. And inside it was classic oak wainscoting, paneling, plush carpeting, and the obligatory moose heads that would hang in the dining room and in the parlor. And the members of the Hamilton Club were lawyers, some physicians, a lot of silk manufacturers, after working in their offices, would come to the club for a big calorie-laden lunch and a big cigar.
The Hamilton Club, now a part of Passaic County Community College, continues today as a venue for dining experience by hosting a semi-annual food tasting event.
Mayor, tell me all about this place, what this event is all about.
So this event at the Hamilton Club, the historical Hamilton Club, is entitled Paterson Plates, the third annual Paterson Plates. Jose De Leon and I came up with this concept to accentuate the vibrant food scene in Paterson. Because as you know, we rebranded Paterson, Great Falls, great food, great future. So today, you have multicultural cuisine.
So we usually do the Paterson Plate event twice a year. We have it in the fall, normally in October, and we have it also in the spring, like in April. And we're looking maybe to do it 3 times because we're getting a large response from the local community, particularly the restaurants are really supportive. And we have a mayor who's very supportive for the restaurants in the city of Paterson. Here we have Silk City Platters, which is a local restaurant on Market Street. And so he's a Bengali owner and sells very wholesome food, healthy foods.
We're serving fresh, healthy halal food in the heart of downtown. And we have homemade chicken, gyro, rice, and tzatziki sauce. We're a quality-driven establishment that's serving quality food to the community.
For those who don't know, what do you mean by halal food?
Halal means blessed.
What would be some of your most popular dishes?
My most popular dish is the platter, which is a rice bowl, and you can fill it with your choice of protein, and then you top it off with your choice of toppings. So our basic concept is you build your own bowl.
And behind me we have an empanada, a Latino restaurant, Puerto Rican,
The name of the store is On The Go Empanadas. The style of empanadas that we do, it's a Puerto Rican style.
Are you mostly a restaurant or mostly takeout?
It's takeout. We do have a few seats where you can sit down and have a bite to eat, but mostly it's like a in and out type of place. What we have today on display is we have our mini empanadas, which we do for like a lot of events, parties, catering. Then we have our special dessert empanada. It's a guava and cheese with a sprinkle of powdered sugar. It's very good.
Ah, sounds delicious.
It is.
And we also have Eva's Shelter, which is a huge program in the city of Paterson, which runs a fantastic culinary program.
The culinary school started 5 years ago. We currently have 162 alumni. We're a private vocational school that we're certified through the Department of Education and the Department of Workforce and Labor Development. We prepare everything. It's a very hands-on course, so the students learn from the traditional French cooking techniques, but they'll learn every type of cooking. We learn Latin, Arabic, Asian, like all sorts of different cooking techniques to prepare them for any kind of culinary field they can go in, any kind of restaurant. We're a 6-month course where any student over 18 wants to come, they can learn how to become a chef, and since we're a vocational school, within 3 months of graduation, we place them in a job.
We also have a soul food restaurant called John Jack's on 10th Avenue. Really, really great home-cooked meals.
My restaurant is John Jack's. It's a soul food restaurant here in Paterson. The soul food restaurant consists of fried whitings fish, mac and cheese, collard greens, cornbread.
It's all Southern.
Yes. The food is phenomenal. The customer service is wonderful. And we give you large portions. And we give you anything that you like and the way you want it. And we have an open heart. Sometimes if you don't even have enough money, you're still going to eat at John Jack's. It's a friendly and open, welcome place.
Also at this event was Krishan's Grill and Bistro.
We are a Middle Eastern and Armenian restaurant. What we have here today is shabiet, which is a phyllo dough wrapped in a sweet cream filling, spinach pies, and hummus. We also have falafel and pita bread.
Paterson is proud of its culinary greatness, our culinary culture, which we're looking to continue to promote. And so Paterson Plates is just a small sample. It's a taste test of what our city has to offer.
Another popular restaurant fondly remembered is the Bonfire on Market Street in Route 20.
The Bonfire became a magnet for Paterson's politicians. So you would see a lot of people in government. You'd see aldermen and councilmen that would go there, a banquet room. And there were a lot of the typical fundraisers that happened there. But that was a gathering place for that side of Paterson that served some, pretty good food.
It was more of a meeting place, entertainment, to have fun. And then again, as time went on, it evolved into a place where the younger people used to meet. I myself, we used to meet there, not for dinner, but to hang out. We have a lot of fun. It was like a drive-in with our cars, and we'd go there, not 7 or 8, we'd go there 11 o'clock at night. Of course, that seemed to be the time, and everybody knew that was the time to meet. And a lot of fun we used to have there.
Still another place fondly remembered by former Patersonians is Patsy's Tavern. Owned and operated by 3 generations of the Barbarula family, its decor has changed little since its opening in the 1930s. And, as in past years, Patsy's is a cash-only dining experience.
The only way I can describe Patsy's Tavern is when you first step into the dining room, it kind of brings you back to an era, maybe in the 30s, 40s. It's a good feeling. It's like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's like the old secure feeling. You're in a nice restaurant. You're in a family restaurant. You're going to be kind of well taken care of. It's just a nice feeling. It's a feeling that absolutely don't get at all your modern restaurants today.
What I could describe about Patsy's is it has some of the best pizza in the city of Paterson, maybe anywhere else. It's very, very good. It has other things, but people flock to it from all over. from the suburbs, not only Paterson.
Patsy's is a old-fashioned pizzeria, bar. People come in, people compare us to a Cheers. People get to know each other, first time meeting. It's definitely a full family restaurant. Every weekend during the week, you'll see people coming from 50 years ago. They're coming with their kids, their grandchildren are coming in now. It's very family orientated. Years ago, my grandfather started as a gentleman's club in 1931, Patsy's Association. Right after Prohibition, he opened up the bar and the restaurant. It's been third generation now. And we've been known ever since for our pizza, Italian food. That is my grandfather, Patsy Pasquale Barbarullo, in the middle, and it's my two uncles, Uncle Jimmy and Uncle Lou.
I've been told that your pizza is rather different from many other establishments. Could you tell me a little bit about that and describe it for me, please?
Sure, we do a thin crust pan pizza, but what makes ours a little different than most other places is the crust. The crust usually comes out very crisp. It stands up to some toppings on it. It's just a very unique pizza compared to a lot of other pizzas.
What are some of the other food specialties that are either your favorite or are popular among your customers?
Our eggplant parmesan is fantastic. Our calamad, we don't do it fried, we just do it in a tomato sauce simmered. It's absolutely delicious.
Are some of these family recipes handed down?
Yeah, all our recipes now, our dough recipe for our pizza, our meatball recipes, our tomato sauce recipes are the same ones handed down from our grandparents.
Tell me about the neighborhood here, if I wanted to come here.
Years ago, this was a big riverside neighborhood. It was mostly Italian people, and a lot of them moved out. Now, basically, it's mostly Spanish people in the area.
But you get a lot of out-of-towners.
Yes, we get a lot of out-of-towners. Yeah, 90%, I'd say 90% of our clientele that come in for dinner is from out of town, that used to live in the surrounding area here. The neighborhood's a very safe neighborhood. We have on-street parking, and we never have any problems here at all.
Just a short distance from Patsy's Tavern on 7th Avenue is La Hacienda on Route 20. To gain some insight into this Mexican restaurant, we turned to Cassandra Gutierrez, a professional chef who lives in Paterson. Cassandra, known professionally as Chef Cass, is a second-generation Cuban-American who graduated from the prestigious Culinary Institute of America.
La Hacienda. You walk into this brightly colored room with lots of natural lighting, lots of windows. They've got really beautiful picture frames of Frida Kahlo, and then all of the adornments inside of La Hacienda are actually from Mexico. When we spoke to the owner, he told us how everything was sourced from a friend of his in Mexico, so everything is very authentic to their culture. What would you say is your most popular dish?
The most popular dish are fajitas, carne asada, or the tan pequeña.
What is a fajita?
Fajita is like a mixed pepper, onions, and you can get the meat you want, like chicken, beef, or shrimp. If you want, like supreme is chicken, beef, and shrimp. Tan pequeña is like the sirloin steak.
What does that come with?
Come with black beans and rice. Carne asada come with rice and beans, guacamole, sour cream, pico de gallo, and tortilla sauce.
Do you get a lot of people coming here looking for something specific when they come?
Margaritas.
Margaritas, that's what I said.
Yeah.
My favorite dish.
I think we have the best margaritas.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I never can find a place
margarita like this one?
Yeah.
And is it like a big bowl of margarita?
Big bowl, yeah. You can get it with the shots, with Patron, Don Julio, Remy Marti. When you have a margarita, you can speak
Exactly, any language.
Yeah.
And when you come here, so the staff and everybody here is bilingual, so I don't have to speak Spanish in order to order food, right?
Yeah, we have both language.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. The cooks are also everybody from Mexico.
Everybody's from Mexico as well. Wow, yeah, so it's very authentic.
Down Route 20 from La Hacienda and turning right onto 19th Avenue, then right onto Vreeland Avenue, we come to Mama's Kitchen. This Jamaican restaurant is a favorite lunch spot and also provides a catering service for all kinds of special events. Among the Caribbean foods on the menu are many seafood and meat dishes. Specialties like oxtail and curried goat, and sides like dumplings, boiled banana, fried plantain, and breadfruit in season. Leaving Mama's Kitchen and returning along 19th Avenue back to Route 20, We travel south along the river until we reach the Market Street exit. Turning onto Market Street and past the Masika Middle Eastern restaurant, we come to another family-owned business, the Bonfire Mofongo House and Lounge. It's definitely not your grandparents' bonfire, but its Caribbean fare and modern motif attract today's generation.
So Bonfire, when you come in, it's definitely a different atmosphere, loungy kind of feel. There's very minimal outdoor lighting, but they've got a lot of neon lights and things like that. Plenty of seating, really large bar. In the evenings, it's typically a younger crowd because they do have a DJ and sometimes live music events. But again, for weekdays and night dinners, you can definitely get an early dinner in with your family. So what would you say is the most popular dish, what people travel to come here for?
Well, this is called Bonfire Mofongo House, and it's for a reason. People come here for the mofongo. It's really good, very well prepared, and also it's a huge size. It's very
it's a big
memorable.
portion.
Yeah.
What is a mofongo?
Well, mofongo is crispy green plantains. It's modeled in a pestle and mortar, and they model it with garlic, cilantro, and clarified butter.
At Bonfire, they have a very large mortar and pestle, the largest I've ever seen, and you can see that it's definitely been used quite a bit. It is their most commonly ordered dish, which is a fried green plantain that you mash in a mortar and pestle.